Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. We live in a world where they like to tell you what to think, but they don't tell you how to think. And the health of your mind tomorrow depends on the quality of your thoughts today. So the poor quality thoughts of yesterday are causing the stresses of today. It's the reason why one person can stay calm, cool, and collective in the face of adversity, and the other person completely unravel in a fraction of that adversity. Because nothing really is good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Now, me, I'm an outcome-oriented person. I'm determined. So when I set my mind to do something, I obsessively want to make it happen. I have to be careful because if I become so preoccupied with the outcome that I want, I can't even recharge my brain and give it the recuperation that it needs to perform at the level that I need it to perform at. So if I can't be present in the moment, it ends up turning into a catch-22. And I can actually catch myself as the mania and neuroticism start to develop. And sometimes I have to remind myself multiple times to snap out of it. And the best way for me to do this is just to get up and get moving. Tell myself, gotta get up, gotta get moving. And another thing to do is I start thinking of things that I'm grateful for right now in this very moment. Take a recess. Take a little intermission. Go do some yoga or something. Yoga and meditation always bring me right back to my center. But the thing is I gotta force myself to do it. All types of exercise in general is gonna help. But the challenge for me becomes peeling myself away from my outcome-dependent mindset. And the same way I've had overly obsessive thoughts about the future, I've also had obsessive preoccupations with the past and being burdened with the emotions that came along with those situations or scenarios. And simply telling myself to snap out of it is easier said than done. And the reason why it's easier said than done is because I'm not living in the moment and noticing all the miracles that are happening around me consistently. If only I could have realized sooner that those things didn't happen to me, but they happened for me, I would have avoided a lot of pitfalls and downward spiraling. Because that's what happens when you feed into the negative thought patterns. So my goal in this video is to share some of the insights that have helped me. Because human beings are born resilient, courageous, and adaptable. We are made to be persistent. We're made to get knocked down and get back up. And the determination begins to kick in once we flip that switch. And we know that faith without work is dead. But work without confidence has never even been born. Do you have confidence in the work that you're putting in? Because if you don't, you won't continue to put in the work when times get tough. And times will get tough. So if you don't know where to start, ask yourself, what is the first thing I can do right now? No matter how small it is. Now, only you can answer that question, but you can't answer that question if you're constantly being distracted. And sometimes we get into the habit of procrastinating and distracting ourselves when we start to feel overwhelmed. It's a coping mechanism. It's the most comfortable thing to do. It's only slightly uncomfortable to sit in silence and ask yourself, what is the first thing to do right now? Because when you gain control of your attention, you then can direct your energy into the right place. You got to think about it. Money, attention, and energy are all synonymous with each other. That's why you pay attention. You're literally spending attention because you don't have an infinite amount of it. The average person watches 4 to 6 hours of television a day. That's equivalent to 3 to 4 work weeks a month living in a vegetated state. Do the math. 3 to 4 weeks of focused productivity down the drain every month. Look, the masses live in a state of hypnosis, but it's not self-hypnotism. It's external hypnotism. Let me give you an example. When you watch a TV commercial and then later on you find yourself out buying what the TV commercial advertised, you've been hypnotized, whether you believe it or not. So always be aware of where you're investing your time, money, energy, and attention. The ability to concentrate and not get distracted in this day and age is a superpower. Distraction is a real good thief of dreams, like a cat burglar. You never see it coming. So if you can focus in a world full of unfocused people, you're gonna win. So I ask myself sometimes, what causes me to go back and continuously scroll on social media? I'm like, is it the fear of missing out? And then I ask myself, I have fear of missing out on what's going on social media, but not fear of missing out on my dreams? Because people use their phones as a pacifier to make themselves feel better. But think about it, if you can't control your own internal state without a phone or an external substance, you're in trouble. You can basically kiss your dreams goodbye. For real. Once you can control your inner state with deep thought, exercise, and good foods, you're now able to cultivate resilience. So if you can acquire that habit, you're going to start to see your perception expand. And now that you have the power of the mind, keep your awareness on what makes you feel pleasant. You'll be able to arouse that feeling and keep a cool head during tough times and challenges. People want to raise their vibration, and they know it's important. But if you're allowing negative thoughts to run wild, you end up being blocked from raising that vibration to where it needs to be. Keep in mind this acronym, PPE. Practice positive emotions and practice the skill of being focused. So you want to get clear on your intention, because that same intention is your reason why. And if you have a strong enough why, you can bear anyhow. Have a plan and take aim. And then you can start piecing together what needs to get done. And most importantly, eliminate worry, because one simple change in perspective can completely change your life. So basically, that's the point of this video, and the reason why I want to share some simple but powerful insights that can completely change everything. You gotta understand how important this is. And we know that our behaviors create our habits, and our habits create our futures. How come we can't sustain the behaviors that cultivate the habits that move us forward? Why can't we be consistent? Is it the intentions? The mindset behind why you do what you do? The power of it? Now, I really want to unpack this, but first I want to give you one of the quickest things that you can do to act on right away. One of the immediate things that I do to get rid of stress is to create more stress. I'll explain. The same way that I get more stress from exercising regularly, as opposed to not exercising, I have lower energy, is the same way that I increase my stress tolerance when I expose myself to more stress. It's like the sauna. Take somebody who bathes in air condition all summer. They can't really last 60 seconds in a sauna. But somebody who said, you know what, I'm gonna expose myself to the natural elements. I'm gonna go in the sauna 3 to 5 minutes twice a week. And then they increase that 3 to 5 minutes to 10 to 15 minutes 3 times a week. And then from there, they're doing 20, 30 minutes 4 to 5 times a week. Now the sauna becomes an enjoyment to that same person, as opposed if they would have just stayed in air condition. Now 1 minute, 60 seconds would be unbearable. And all they can think about is, I got to get out of here. I can't wait to get out of this. This is too hot. Meanwhile, the same person goes into the sauna, works up the tolerance. Now they feel the joy of detoxing their body of poisons. Isn't it great? That's how it works. So if you don't increase your comfort zone by doing what is uncomfortable, you stay uncomfortable in minor discomforts. You would literally laugh at those discomforts if you actually knew what you were capable of. The sauna example is just a small example, but my point is, those same discomforts are a minor discomfort. They're a walk in the park when it comes to what your potential actually is. In the same way that you become more flexible when you stretch your body, you become more flexible when you stretch your limitations, or when you're stretching your mind. So when it comes down to it, incrementally making yourself uncomfortable, you don't do everything all at once. You take little steps, day by day, and eventually you start to notice your stress tolerance is increasing. And when you increase your stress tolerance, this is going to lead to more achievement, because that's exactly what it takes to fulfill your destiny. So think on that. And let me ask you, what are you going to do today to get to the next level?